On the next Entertainment Tonight, he calls himself Fabio. So why are some women calling him a bimbo?
A bimbo is somebody who's gorgeous and overbuilt who gets by on their looks. That's Fabio.
He's made his living as a romance novel cover model, and he's easily the hottest hunk in the business. But now they're going to pay him big bucks to write, and the hunk bashing is on. Get the inside story on the next Entertainment Tonight.
At a special time tomorrow at 4:30.
Get ready to win big. Miller Reserve and Channel 4 are giving away a really big widescreen TV for the big summer games. Pick up an entry blank wherever Miller Reserve is sold, or send your name, address, and phone number to KNBC Big TV, Post Office Box 55085, Sherman Oaks, California, 91413. But hurry, entries must be received by July 31st. So bring home the gold and silver with Miller Reserve, and you could be watching the biggest event of the summer in a really big way right here on Channel 4.
Breaking down on the freeway can be a driver's worst nightmare. A single stalled car can clog traffic for miles. But now, thanks to your local tax dollars, a new tow truck service patrol is helping motorists on certain stretches of freeway throughout Los Angeles. These drivers are trained and certified and, for no charge, will help you and all of us keep moving.
Sexy Soaps South of the Border on hard copy.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to a special celebration of Paramount Studios' 80th anniversary. I'm Mary Hart.
I'm Lisa Gibbons, and for the next hour, we'll step back in time to remember the biggest stars in the classic movies.
Plus, we're going to flash forward to give you some insight into the future of Hollywood.
And Mary, the future should be some show, because the saying for the last 80 years has been, if it's a Paramount picture, it's the best show in town.
That vow has typified filmmaking at Paramount from the beginning, when an immigrant furrier became one of the founding fathers of motion pictures. His name, Adolf Zucker, and he had a dream.
I developed the idea and the interest in motion pictures in 1893 during the World's Fair in Chicago. They showed a motion picture running about 30 seconds. And from that day on, I had motion pictures in mind.
Zucker soon bought a chain of Nickelodeons, those early 5-cent movie houses. In those days, movies were only a few minutes long, but Zucker believed that audiences would watch and enjoy longer stories. So in 1912, he brought the French-made feature film Queen Elizabeth with the legendary Sarah Bernhardt to America and helped transform movies from a novelty to a cultural phenomenon.
He formed Famous Players Film Company and joined forces with Jesse Lasky, Samuel Goldwyn, and Cecil B. DeMille. Together, movies became their paramount concern.
Zucker also helped propel the star system when he negotiated his contracts with Mary Pickford. The girl with the golden curls sold movie tickets. So in 1916, he signed her to an incredible deal for $10,000 a week with a $300,000 bonus. Thus, she became Paramount's first real superstar.
Within a few years, the studio was known worldwide for its professional level of production and its roster of stars, including swashbuckling Douglas Fairbanks, comedian Fatty Arbuckle, cowboy actor William S. Hart, and the unforgettable Rudolph Valentino.
You can't tell the story of Paramount without telling the story of Cecil B. DeMille. This colorful movie maker became as well known to audiences as any star who appeared on screen. In the silent film era, he titillated audiences by invading the boudoir. Then he silenced the critics of his risque movies by filming the story of the Ten Commandments.
DeMille was a personality as much as a director. He often appeared on camera promoting his pictures and playing himself to the hilt.
Come on now, work yourselves into the emotion of such a scene. Don't be extras. Be a nation, watching its manhood ride out on a great cause, the crusade. Are you ready, Tate?
Already and turning, Mr. DeMille.
And his reputation spread far and wide.
He was making one of those pictures. And he had something like 1,200 extras out there, you know. And he had 3 or 4 assistants, and he said, all right, are we ready? You know, and the one director said, okay. One director said, okay. One director back here. And a girl in the middle of the extra said, put her hand up, and DeMille says, what's the matter? She said, I don't feel it. I thought he was going to barbecue her, but even he laughed.
DeMille made history at the studio for more than 40 years. And while he's gone now, his name still stands for mass audience entertainment, just the kind that Paramount or any studio strives to create year after year.
Whether it's Dorothy Lamour in a sarong or Raiders of the Lost Ark, Hitchcock giving us a scare, or Hope and Crosby a good laugh, whether it's Star Trek the motion picture or Eddie Murphy in Beverly Hills Cop, Paramount has turned its cameras on a lot of great entertainment.
I'm going to make them an offer he can't refuse.
Later on, we're going to turn our cameras on some historical figures whose spirits can still be found around the lot. But first, we're going right to the top with some of the movies that live up to the promise of the best show in town.
We'll rise to the heights with aerial acrobatics that will leave you clinging on for dear life.
And later, how to transform a simple parking lot into an ocean of dreams.
Every now and then, we all need an outlet for change. When this happens to you, switch to caffeine-free Diet 7-Up with NutraSweet, the 1-calorie un-cola. Put some on in your diet.
Sunroof by Sunships. Sunships multi-grain snacks. A little sun never tasted so good.
Hey, Sleeping Beauty, wake up. Is Prince Charming coming? No, but the new boss may be. Better revive with Vivarin. Vivarin? It wakes me up and it's safe as coffee.
Great proposal, Stacy. Really alert.
Revive with Vivarin.
Gee, honey, great bacon.
It's not bacon.
Not bacon.
That's right. 100% soy breakfast strips with no cholesterol.
Still going. Nothing outlasts the Energizer battery. It keeps going and going.
Are we special or what? Somebody got us Post Raisin Bran. It's premium.
What's premium?
It means it's special, like us. Look at this premium flake. You see the whole wheat and wheat bran? That's why it's so good for us.
You know everything, Daddy.
And somebody knows we love lots of big, plump raisins.
I got so many.
Wow, premium. Somebody sure must think we're special.
It must be Mommy.
Post Raisin Bran, it's premium, and that makes everybody feel like somebody special.
Crystal light. Drench yourself in a wave of refreshment. Let it wash over you. Feel inside and out. Crystal light. Refreshment for body and soul.
Movies are magic. They allow an audience's imagination to soar. And when the story is about flying, a film can put you in the pilot seat. Leonard Maltin joins us from Paramount Stage 19. It's the set of the sitcom Wings.
The 20th century witnessed the development of two pretty amazing inventions, the motion picture and the airplane. You might even say they grew up together. Now, whether by chance or by design, Paramount produced more aviation films than any other studio, including some pretty big hits.
Rock and roll! Tom Cruise is one of Hollywood's hottest stars, and one of the films that cemented that stardom was 1986's smash hit Top Gun. But he wasn't the only big name to pilot a hit movie.
I just broke out of the overcast. I'm too low to bail out. I'm going to attempt a gear-up crash landing.
The studio's aerial history can be traced in a straight line from Top Gun all the way back over 60 years to Paramount's first Academy Award-winning film. In fact, the first Best Picture Oscar winner ever, Wings. Wings is the story of American flyers stationed in France during World War I. And these young hot dogs aren't so different from the pilots of Top Gun. That was the appeal of Wings. Just ask its star, Buddy Rogers.
Well, it has the excitement of youth, of protecting its country, of saying, this is our country, and I'm going to stand by it and fly for it forever and ever.
Wings was a tremendous success, and it set the stage for a great many other aviation films that followed. Paramount certainly knew a good thing when they saw it. Some of the biggest stars in movie history have taken to the air in Paramount Pictures. Cary Grant, Frederick March, William Holden, Ray Milland and Claudette Colbert, Fred McMurray, James Stewart, and even W.C. Fields.
Must be the China Clipper.
You'd have to search far and wide to find a movie studio with so much aerial action. Films like The Eagle and the Hawk with Frederick March have taken aim at our hearts and minds.
They set me up as a shiny tin god, a hero, an ace. Expect me to act like a hero. So you can all play at being heroes. So you go out and shoot other kids down burning. Get killed yourselves. They'll decorate you for it. They'll give you medals, just like they did me. I got these for killing kids. They're all chunks of torn flesh and broken bones and blood. And for what? I give you war.
Movies make us think, they make us feel, and they make us laugh. Paramount's aviation films have done all of that from the silent film era to the present day, giving the studio a unique niche in
And there may be another film about flying on the Paramount horizon. There's a new project in the works. It's called Wild Blue Yonder that combines fighter pilots and the space shuttle.
As films about flying have taken us into the wild blue yonder, as Lisa just mentioned, the Star Trek series of television shows and movies has explored the farthest reaches of space. And as John Tesh, a big Star Trek fan himself, tells us, the adventure continues.
I'm standing on the set of a brand new TV series called Star Trek Deep Space Nine. It may not look like much right now, but from humble beginnings just like these emerged a phenomenon more than 25 years ago. A TV series that dared to boldly go where no series had gone before.
Space, the final frontier.
On September 8, 1966, television entered a new dimension. Star Trek was born, featuring the crew of the Starship Enterprise exploring new worlds in the 23rd century. William Shatner headed a cast of relative unknowns as Captain James T. Kirk, and Leonard Nimoy played Science Officer Spock from the planet Vulcan.
What I thought was, this looks like it could be a steady job. That was important.
It's hard to believe now, but Star Trek was a flop in the ratings. It found its following in reruns. The stories were set in space, but they dealt with real social issues.
We have the right
to wage war, Captain, to kill millions of innocent people.
That's really the best of science fiction, is taking a human theme and just putting it in a different environment.
The show took off at warp speed. Fans came to know and love all the characters, as well as items like phasers, transporters, and tribbles. Then there were those famous catchphrases people still quote today.
Fascinating. I'm a doctor, not a bricklayer.
That is quite logical, Captain.
By popular demand, the cast reunited in 1979 for their first feature film together, Star Trek: The Motion Picture.
Star Trek, the motion picture, the first one, was supposed to be the only Star Trek movie. That's why it was called the motion picture. But that made a ton of money. And so what that dictates is a sequel.
Now there have been 6 features, and the fans keep coming back to see more of the idealistic vision of the future.
One of hope, one of high adventure, one of nobility, one of great expectation.
I just think it has some kind of magic to it.
What was supposed to be a 5-year mission has turned into a cultural marvel. The Enterprise continues to soar, with Star Trek: The Next Generation thriving on television. And sets are under construction on 2 different stages for the spin-off Deep Space Nine. There are more than 200 Star Trek clubs nationwide, and Trekkies flock to conventions by the thousands each year.
I'm Justin Spock today, Captain Spock.
There are toys, clothes, loads of merchandise, and currently there's even an exhibit at the Smithsonian in Washington devoted to Star Trek.
I'm attracted to bald men.
Whoopi Goldberg has a recurring role in The Next Generation, and for her it was a dream come true to become part of Star Trek.
I've always wanted to do Star Trek. You know, me and Lieutenant Uhura, I always wanted to be her daughter.
It was also a dream come true for me to play a nasty Klingon for a day, even if the makeup alone took over 3 hours. Oh. I had to go to the bathroom. Gene Roddenberry was the man of vision behind Star Trek. He died late last year, but his sensitivity and humor are evident in all Star Trek projects. Happily, Roddenberry was able to enjoy his moment in the sun when a building here on the Paramount lot was dedicated in his honor last June.
You get no end of credit for just going to an office every day and writing your daydreams.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Star Trek has truly lived long and prospered in many incarnations, and the anticipation of this new series, Deep Space Nine, has proved that the phenomenon that is Star Trek continues to fascinate. Quite illogical, but highly successful. I'm John Tesh.
Thank you, John. The building dedicated to Star Trek creator Gene Roddenberry also serves as headquarters for such successful Paramount programs as Arsenio Hall, Hard Copy, The Maury Povich Show, and Us, Entertainment Tonight.
Get ready for some laughs as Lucy, Fonzie, Laverne and Shirley, Richie, Alex, and Mork from Ork open up about Paramount's out-of-this-world comedy tradition.
Hello, I'm Fritz of the Fritz and Fred Spectacle Spectacular Contest. I'm here to show you what a piece of cake this thing is to enter. Number 1, watch for the next Spectacle Spectacular promo. 2, count the number of different specs I wear in that spot. And 3, call the 900 number shown. Boom. You can win a cruise for 2 to Mexico or passes to Universal Studios Hollywood. Remember, there's a new spot and a new contest every 2 weeks and a $5,000 grand prize. Enter. This is very big.
Watch the next Spectacle Spectacular spot coming up in the next hour.
We won a trip to Mexico.
There are new buildings and new jobs in Compton, and that means new hope. The contractor of this project is an active member of the Black Business Association. She doesn't just work for the construction company, she owns it.
Some of the workers might look at me and wonder if I'm somebody's secretary. You may get some stereotype kind of things that African Americans cannot work together, they cannot do anything, so just take a look around this whole site, and that's who put this one together.
For more than 20 years, the Black Business Association has been a major force in opening doors of opportunity for black businesses in L.A.
Anyone that has an idea that they would like to be an entrepreneur should contact us. And whether you're in business 50 years or you in business 2 months, we can help you.
To share your professional expertise or become a member, call the Black Business Association of Los Angeles at 213-292-0271.
In towns all across America, their dreams were born. And then for years, they worked and trained, paid their dues, honed their skills, until their talent and dedication brought them together at the very top of their profession and made a dream come true. Meet our dream team. Paul Moyer, Wendy Takuda, Fritz Coleman, and Fred Rogan. Weeknights at 5, 7, and midnight, only on the Channel 4 News.
For Paramount, television comedy is no laughing matter. The studio has fashioned an empire with a string of TV comedy hits that started in the early days and continues to be the toast of television right into the present.
Somebody cover for me. Cover for what? You don't do anything around here.
You look like $1 million.
That's free. You really are from out there.
No, actually, I'm from out there. You see, out there is not a nice neighborhood. I wouldn't even go there during a total eclipse.
It's a great way to get chicks. You invite them over for a little television. Turn the lights down low. And then grab them right in the middle of Cook with Fran and Ollie. Girls be wise.
From Lucy's comic Cheers to Normie's Many Beers, Paramount has brewed classic TV comedy for almost 3 decades. Lucille Ball began the tradition with her first post-Desi Arnaz production. The Lucy Show firmly established the wacky redhead as the crowned queen of the small screen. And the late, great comedienne told us working in front of that live TV audience was an important education.
A little bit of America was in every seat, and they were our instant barometer as to what was funny and what wasn't. Now, you've got to learn from that every week for 20 years or more.
In 1969, it was romance that made us laugh each week with a collection of comic plays in the series Love American Style. In fact, one skit called Love in the Happy Days was so well received, the studio decided to base a whole show around it.
Tell her you got a television and you're in like Flynn. I'm not going to tell her that. I don't want her to like me for my television set. I want her to like me for me.
Mrs. C, Marion Ross, says after 11 seasons, the cast and crew became such a family it was hard to retire for many reasons.
We had a softball team, and we played all over. We didn't want to break up the softball team. In fact, you couldn't get a job as a writer on Happy Days unless you were a good ball player.
Their incredible batting average on air gave way to other spin-off series. Mork first showed up on Happy Days and then went on to launch the comic career of Robin Williams, who says he's still remembered as the man from Mork.
That's very reassuring, isn't it, when you see the people who are examining you at the airport and they look like, go through, Mork, go through. We love you, go through. You crazy, go on.
And, of course, there was Laverne and Shirley, proving that comedy and nostalgia were a match made in Milwaukee.
You've got something people can watch and they feel safe and comfortable and familiar watching, and to boot, they laugh.
Revenge is wrong.
Wrong, maybe, but oh, so sweet.
Another odd couple who made it to the lot back in the early 70s was Jack Klugman and Tony Randall. But it was the Brady Bunch who turned comedy into a family affair, and Barry Williams says when they weren't working, they were playing.
All agreed that the kids should have a chance to remain kids. So we were allowed to walk around on the catwalks that are up above the set. We visited the other sets on the lot, and there were a bunch of shows playing. Bonanza, Happy Days in our last year. And we'd, run around the set and scope them out and hang out on the set.
Hello. Manuel Lewis became the new kid on the Paramount lot when an executive discovered the 3'4" 12-year-old who could play half that age in a Burger King ad. Writers were told to come up with a story idea for the youngster immediately, or at least before he grew another inch. Meanwhile, across the lot, a show about New York cabbies was chauffeuring unknown actors to the top, such as Danny DeVito, Judd Hirsch, Mary Lou Henner, Andy Kaufman, and Tony Danza, who remembers his audition for the show.
In reality, the script had originally called for Phil Ryan, who was an Irish heavyweight, Phil Ryan. And so they met me, made it an Italian middleweight, and they changed it to Phil Banta. And then 2 days before the shoot, they changed it to Tony Banta. It was a reflection on my acting ability. They were afraid I wouldn't answer.
Good night, Alice. Oh, no, my dear. You're going to sit down right now and tell me exactly where you've been for the past 2 hours.
No one had heard the name Michael J. Fox back in 1982 when Family Ties first started. We were on the set that freshman season to catch the humble beginnings, coming full circle to the season finale 7 years later. The now accomplished TV and film star still relishes his Family Ties.
I'm sort of like an idiot. These tears start coming out of my face, and I went after the curtain call. I was like a blubbering idiot. Sometimes the emotions just creep up on you, so it was touching.
A block of cement on the lot is home to Ted Danson and Woody Harrelson handprints, which helped to cement their place in Paramount comic history. It's summer break now, but soon this darkened stage will come alive with the beers and jeers of Cheers' 11th season. Danson toasts the prosperity of being part of the Emmy Award-winning Paramount family.
The atmosphere that you walk around in, because people have so much, whatever it is, for Cheers.
allows you such a privilege. I mean, it's a great kind of ambassadorship. Anywhere you go, you get in a door with a smile and people willing to listen to you. So, quite a gift. Quite a gift.
So what if we get our paychecks from Paramount? That's a great roster of shows.
Yeah, proud of it, too. No, that was very fun to watch.
The comedy tradition will continue this fall as Bob Newhart joins the Paramount family. His new TV show titled Bob debuts on CBS in September.
A tradition of Hollywood magic revealed. When we come back, you'll see an ordinary parking lot transformed to a field of dreams.
2 a.m., 36 Pine Street. Apartment 4C has a backache and can't sleep. 3C overdid her afternoon workout and is paying the price. 2C had an aching back, but fortunately, she also has Tylenol PM, with extra-strength Tylenol pain reliever, plus a gentle ingredient to help her sleep. And a good night's sleep was all she needed to make her day a whole lot brighter. Tylenol PM, so you can rest easy.
I am a father of 6 and a firefighter and a paramedic, so I require a great deal of energy.
Steve Cook just tried breakfast with grape nuts for a week.
Grape nuts kept me going every single morning. I felt good.
Grape nuts, the fat-free natural energy source.
I love grape nuts. I like the fact that it stayed crunchy in the milk. I'm sold on the grape nuts, and I'll stick with the grape nuts forever.
Breakfast with post-grape nut cereal helps keep you going strong all morning long.
I think after a week, anyone would be sold on grape nuts.
Every now and then, we all need an outlet for change. When this happens to you, switch to caffeine-free Diet 7-Up with NutraSweet, the 1-calorie Un-Cola. Put some Un in your diet.
When it comes to making batteries that last, somebody's in high gear. Today's Duracell batteries can even outperform the ones we made just a few years back. You can't top the Comfort Top.
Introducing a whole new way to keep that shower fresh feeling all day. New Band Fresh and Dry. Keep the feeling, shower fresh feeling. New Band Fresh and Dry. New Band Fresh and Dry has an extra wide ball. It's a big way to roll on fresh, a big way to roll on dry. Band Fresh and Dry has aloe too. It's a whole new way to stay shower fresh. Keep that feeling, shower fresh feeling. New Band Fresh and Dry.
Welcome back to Entertainment Tonight. I'm Mary Hart.
And I'm Lisa Gibbons. Paramount's Blue Sky has been a Hollywood landmark since the 1930s, and at the foot of the Blue Sky rests a nondescript concrete reservoir known as the B-Tank. But magic can be made in the B-Tank just by adding water.
This may look like just another parking lot at Paramount Studios, and it is 99% of the time. But then there are those other times. In order to transform the sunken parking lot to shoot these spectacular scenes, it takes more than movie magic, namely hard work. Most recently, Patriot Games converted the B-Tank, and hundreds of crewmen toiled for weeks, painting concrete, building props, and erecting a huge web of scaffolding.
About 50 tons of steel and stuff all together.
950,000 gallons of water were pumped into the tank. Add wave makers, wind machines, and rain sprinklers, you have a doozy of a storm. It's not exactly glamorous working conditions, but tough guy Harrison Ford didn't complain.
It really isn't as difficult as it looks. I'm wearing a wetsuit underneath my suit. People are bringing me coffee.
Behold his mighty hand!
In 1956, Charlton Heston parted the Red Sea for the Ten Commandments. Not on location, but right here in the parking lot with some help from special effects. It was 9 years ago that The Winds of War impressed viewers with its epic battleship scenes. But the reality is many of those ships were actually miniature versions moving on tracks, complete with toy soldiers.
Action!
The B-Tank also served as a romantic setting where Sam proposed to Diane, opening the 5th season of Cheers. Of course, things didn't go well for either of them that night.
This is not open for debate, Diane.
Sam, I think once you've heard my explanation, you will...
Don't worry, Shelley Long jumped into only 4 feet of water. For Ted Danson, it was a luxury to have a swimming hole at work.
This is fun, gosh. The truth is we've been entertaining the whole lot. I mean, everybody's been in swimming.
In 1986, the entire cast of Star Trek IV was swimming in the B-tank. Their ship was supposed to have crashed, and the lot had to pass for San Francisco Bay. For some cast members, it was all too real.
It's really a little rugged with the rain and the ocean waves.
The wind is blowing, the water is churning, and it is a very uncomfortable and realistic setting.
One day each year, the B-tank with the blue sky background has an altogether different function, but one that may be its most significant. It serves as a kickoff point for AIDS Walk LA. Last year, 16,000 people packed the parking lot and raised more than $2.5 million to fight AIDS. Till the next big Paramount production, the B-tank will continue to collect grease spots along with a lot of memories.
That was my space, too, by the way, that memory. The blue sky backdrop to the B-tank is constructed along the wall of a new state-of-the-art film vault, and it's fitting that the blue sky has future action in front of it and memories behind it. Among the memorable films safely tucked inside those vaults are some that have reached the heights in awards and acclaim. Leonard Maltin is back to open the vaults and expose his honor roll of Paramount films.
Here's one of the most famous entryways in the world, the gateway to Paramount Pictures. It was seen in so many movies, it became a symbol of Hollywood around the world. And why not? It really stood for something, glamour and grandeur. Paramount has a distinguished honor roll of great writers, directors, and stars who dot its history over the past 80 years, and who for many of those years went through that gate every morning and called this studio home.
Chase those trees, that snow, that scenery, and that sky. Yeah, and get a load of that bread and butter. Bread and butter, that's a mountain. Maybe a mountain to you, but it's bread and butter to me.
Truth be told, it was Paramount who mined pure gold from the talents of Bob Hope and Bing Crosby. They were among the studio's biggest stars from the 1930s through the 1950s, part of a tradition of music and comedy that embraced such great talents as the Marx Brothers, Mae West, and W.C. Fields, and continued full force with the arrival of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
Seymour. Wah!
I did 26 films there, and driving on that lot built me an empire.
Comedy took a giant leap forward in the 1940s when screenwriter Preston Sturges started directing his brilliant films at Paramount, like The Miracle of Morgan's Creek. But even in the earliest days of talkies, there was nothing to compare to the wit and sophistication of director Ernst Lubitsch, who guided Maurice Chevalier through one saucy hit after another, like The Love Parade. One of Lubitsch's protégés, writer-director Billy Wilder, went on to carve his own niche in both comedy and drama, with films like Double Indemnity, The Lost Weekend, and the unforgettable Sunset Boulevard.
You see, this is my life. It always will be. There's nothing else. Just us. And the cameras. And those wonderful people out there in the dark.
That film marked an astonishing comeback for Gloria Swanson, who'd been a top Paramount star in the 1920s. The studio roster of leading ladies was always impressive, from Clara Bow to Marlene Dietrich, from the antics of Carole Lombard to the stylishness of Claudette Colbert. Olivia de Havilland won 2 Oscars here, and Dorothy Lamour found stardom behind those studio gates.
When I walked through the Paramount gate, it was, I think, one of the greatest thrills of my life.
There was no shortage of great leading men either, from Gary Cooper and Cary Grant to Alan Ladd and William Holden. And even after the heyday of the star system, when actors belonged to one studio, Paramount continued to make its mark with movies that made money, made history, and even won Oscars. Westerns like Shane. Thrillers like Rosemary's Baby.
Don't argue or make a scene. Because if you say anything more about witches or witchcraft, we're to be forced to take you to a mental hospital.
The winning Paper Moon and the sleeper Crocodile Dundee. Major hits like Saturday Night Fever, Flashdance, and the Oscar-winning Ordinary People.
Why didn't you tell us, Connie?
I don't know. I didn't think it mattered.
What do you mean? Why wouldn't it matter? Of course it matters.
No, that was meant for me, Calvin.
What was meant for you?
It's really important to try to hurt me, isn't it?
Don't you have that backwards?
And the biggest hits of all, The Godfather and its unprecedented Oscar-winning sequel, followed by yet a third installment nearly 20 years later. Great stories, great stars, a great history. 80 years of movie making, with no end in sight.
Hey! Oh, no. No, stay right there. Go! Get the writers, get the producers, get my agents, get a girl!
Coming up next, it's time for romance and the classic tales of boy meets girl. Stay tuned for The Art of Love.
Want to lower your blood pressure? Have a banana. To prevent a stroke, eat lots of potatoes. You can even lower your cholesterol by snacking on popcorn. Want to know the secrets to really feeling good? Then you need to know what foods can help make you well and what foods can keep you healthy. That's why the editors of Prevention Magazine Health Books asked leading nutritionists for the foods and recipes that can actually prevent and even cure today's most worrisome illnesses and common health problems. Now it's all in one important book, The Healing Foods. I'm Joanne D'Agostino, nutritional consultant to Prevention Magazine Health Books. I'm also a registered nurse, so I know the healing foods can help dramatically improve your health and well-being. Over 450 pages documented by 180 doctors and nutritionists. Healing foods that can help prevent over 65 illnesses and conditions from colds to cholesterol, even heart disease and diabetes. You'll learn which tasty soups, delicious pastas, and hearty breads can actually help you lose weight, what fish dishes can help prevent arthritis, even the kind of cheesecake that will help fight osteoporosis. All in the Healing Foods.
Call now for the Healing Foods. Try it absolutely free for 21 days, 3 full weeks to learn how you can improve your health with food you like to eat. Then if you choose to keep it, we'll bill you in 3 easy installments of only $8.99.
And as a free gift, you'll get the special report from Prevention, Young Skin for Life. Over 50 pages of beauty secrets and makeover advice on how to prevent and reverse the signs of aging without cosmetic surgery or artificial makeup.
Remember, you can try the Healing Foods free for 21 days, and the free guide to young-looking skin is yours to keep.
Call for the Healing Foods now. And by the way, an apple a day does keep the doctor away.
Call 1-800-242-9300. 1-800-242-9300.
The theme from Love Story. Not only did it strike an emotional chord in movie fans, it was music to Paramount's ears. Well, Love Story became a smash at the box office, of course, but Leonard Maltin is here with good reasons why it should have been no surprise, really. Leonard.
Well, ladies, like every movie studio in Hollywood, Paramount has made a business out of trying to figure out what the public wants to see. There are trends to keep up with, stars to be nurtured, and changing tastes to be tracked. But one thing never seems to change: the public's enduring interest in love stories.
Jenny, I'm sorry.
Don't. Love means never having to say you're sorry.
The 1970 movie of Eric Siegel's Love Story was about as simple a tale as one could imagine. But apparently that very simplicity is what made it such a success.
Love Story was a very cheap little picture, and suddenly it was a blockbuster around the world for years.
Shall we take a walk?
Love stories have been a Paramount staple from the time Gary Cooper and Helen Hayes bid a farewell to arms to the time Deborah Winger was carried off in Richard Gere's arms in An Officer and a Gentleman. Love comes in all shapes and sizes, all forms and fashions, from the exotic allure of Rudolph Valentino as the Sheik to the saucy approach of Mae West.
You know, I always did like a man in a uniform. And that one fits you grand. Why don't you come up sometime, see me? I'm home every evening.
Yeah, but I'm busy every evening.
Busy? So what are you trying to do, insult me?
There's motherly love and brotherly love.
You know as well as I do, this necklace is imitation.
And I'm not.
But the kind that's always appealed most strongly to moviegoers is romantic love. The kind that can set off fireworks.
Hey!
Lead to a madcap adventure. Or inspire someone to burst into song.
You're sunny, funny.
Love and passion wear many faces. all of them reflected in the films that scored big with audiences in decades past and continue to have allure in the 1990s. But few films in Paramount's history have had the impact of Franco Zeffirelli's 1968 production, Romeo and Juliet. This timeless tale and beautiful production made a star of Olivia Hussey.
We couldn't walk in any country in the world without being mobbed. We couldn't go out without people standing up and stopping and reaching out to touch the hair. And it's incredible what kind of an effect that film had.
That a story as old as Shakespeare's could still be so moving and so relevant says it all. Love is one subject that never goes out of style, and Paramount has always known it.
What do you do if every time you see this one incredible woman, you think you're gonna hurl?
I say hurl. If you blow chunks and she comes back, she's yours. If you spew and she bolts, it was never meant to be.
The world according to Wayne and Garth.
Good twist on that. I like that variation. I was in such a romantic mood until that moment.
Until that moment, yes.
Of all the pieces you have done, Leonard, I have liked that one among the best of them. Yeah. Thanks a lot. And we are going to be right back.
You better sit down for this. The tampon you probably use was designed by a man a half-century ago. To absorb, it grows longer and longer. You better sit down. A woman, a doctor designed OB. The tampon that expands all around to fit better and prevent fluid from going by. OB. You can stand up for it. Oh, and there's no applicator to stand in the way in the environment. OB. You can stand up for it.
Every now and then, we all need an outlet for change. When this happens to you, switch to caffeine-free Diet 7-Up with NutraSweet, the 1-calorie uncola. Put some in your diet.
Hey, Sleeping Beauty, wake up.
Is Prince Charming coming?
No, but the new boss may be. Better revive with Vivarin.
Vivarin?
It wakes me up and it's safe as coffee.
Great proposal, Stacy. Really alert.
Revive with Vivarin.
You can have a great beef dinner in no time at all. Well, almost no time at all. Beef. It's what's for dinner.
Yours truly here picking up free shoebox cards at Hallmark. Cute. Yeah, right now you get one free when you buy two, which, as you mathematicians know, means you get 2 free for buying 4, and 3 for 6, and 4 for... Well, you get the drift. I mean, what a deal. Sure, it means licking a lot of envelopes, but dogs love to lick, right, Floyd?
Get a free shoebox card when you buy 2 at Hallmark, and check out all the other great values, too.
Good job, Floyd. Now you can get started on the stamps.
Oh, she's the best. My mother, she always put her family first. At our ages, she was up to 4 or 5 children, and she always looked impeccably groomed. My sisters and I think, oh, what happened to us?
Victoria Schneider has never lowered the standards she grew up with, which is why she uses Dove. Dove contains 1/4 moisturizing cream. It won't dry your face like soap.
I tried some harsher things and just ended up with dry, flaking skin. Dove makes me feel soft and young.
Air travel furnished and a promotional fee paid by Delta Airlines, offering daily service to the sport and spectacle of Barcelona. At Delta, we love to fly, and it shows. Production assistance furnished by MasterCard. This summer, save up to 25% with the Master Values program at dozens of merchants nationwide, only from MasterCard. From the earliest days of Hollywood, the studio lots have been a second home to the generations of people who make movies. Come on in now to our house here at Paramount for a nostalgic look at days gone by.
Paulette Goddard. Paulette Goddard.
We'll open the gate.
Hello, Miss Crosby. Hi, Casey. How's Mr. Crosby, Jr.?
Well, I'm fine, thanks.
How have you been, Miss Desmond?
Open the gate.
Sure, Miss Desmond. Come on, Mac.
They can't drive on the lot without a pass.
Miss Desmond can. Come on.
On your left, Randolph Scott is showing some of the sailors from the British fleet around the studio. Over here on your right, playing hide and seek are Gary Cooper and Frederick Martin. Hi, boys. Here, folks, here's Charles Bickford. Hello, Charles. Meet the folks. Hello, folks.
Now, here's a unique gathering at Paramount in the early 30s. That's Groucho Marx, Harpo Marx, and Jackie Cooper in the Soapbox Racers. With Carol Lombard starting the race. In fact, Paramount was home to an incredible variety of stars during that golden era. Here, at a 1934 convention for movie theater owners, some of Paramount's finest turned out. Cary Grant, George Burns and Gracie Allen, and the one director who is as famous as any of his stars, Cecil B. DeMille.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just left the set of Cleopatra, and I'm bringing the set and the artist with me.
There was even a wedding one day on a Paramount stage with director Mitchell Lyson giving the bride away and Duke Ellington providing the music. The Hollywood studio system reached its peak in the 1940s.
Hello. Hello, this is Veronica Lake.
Veronica Lake?
Send the police. There are a couple of hoodlums up here attacking Alan Ladd.
Alan Ladd? How you doing? Pleased to meet you.
Movie attendance was at an all-time high, and the television industry had not yet made its impact on the American public. All of that, of course, would change in the 1950s and 60s, but until that time, Paramount's family of stars was riding high on success. Family albums are treasured down through the generations. The Paramount family is particularly fortunate because the pictures move. That family feeling continues here at Paramount, and the man sitting on top of the mountain is Brandon Tartikoff, chairman of Paramount Pictures. He took some time out to take me on a tour of the studio's pride and joy, a new backlot where a facade of New York City has been constructed right in the heart of Hollywood. Magically, here we are in New York.
Modern New York, the City Court building. Isn't that great?
And this is an exact replica, isn't it?
Yeah. And this is one of the centerpieces of New York Street, which we just built.
What is the purpose of New York Street, Brandon?
Well, Mary, there's several purposes. One is that there are some existing television shows that could take advantage of the street immediately, like Brooklyn Bridge. But I guess the main reason that we built New York Street is there are a lot of homesick New Yorkers on this lot working for Paramount, like myself. And on a given day, I can brown bag it, come here, sit on the steps, eat a bologna sandwich, and pretend that I'm back home.
So when the tour groups come through and they see a guy with a brown bag sitting here on the sidewalk...
And a little mustard on the corner of my lip.
That's Brandon Tartikoff.
Want to go to Soho? It's a beautiful day.
Oh, sure.
Okay.
Absolutely. Oh, this does look authentic.
Well, you know, Mary, Paramount's New York is really the way New York should be. Right at your fingertips. Here's Soho.
Mm-hmm.
Across the street there is Greenwich Village. And, well, take a look out here. What do you see?
You know, I even see steam coming out from the street.
Well, Marilyn Monroe was just there.
You know, I'm really getting into this, Brandon. I feel the humidity of New York.
Well, then we've done our job.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, Mary, this is Paramount's New York. We have some control over these things.
Oh, yeah? I'm impressed.
Did Michael Eisner do that? I asked you.
Not even Mickey Mouse.
This is actually the street that's used on Brooklyn Bridge. And I actually grew up in Brooklyn, and I can tell you that it looks pretty real. So you like our little golf carts here?
Oh, yeah. Now, whose are these?
Well, this is Adolph Zucker's car, and the one behind you is Bill Cosby. He's just joined us at Paramount. Actually, these are from the new Paramount television series, The Untouchables. be premiering this January.
Well, Brandon, when you were growing up in New York and you went to the movies and you saw the Paramount Mountain in the logo, did you ever dream that one day you'd be right here on top of the mountain?
Now, I can't say that I did, but I will tell you this, Mary, that when I was growing up, Paramount did make an impression on me. I mean, all those Martin and Lewis movies, and of course, like millions of kids all over America, Cecil B. DeMille's Ten Commandments.
Oh,
wow.
Of course.
What kind of pictures and television series do you want to do here?
Well, I'd like to have an association or a rub-off value on the Paramount logo, that mountain covered with the stars, to stand for family entertainment.
Is it easy to make a hit movie?
No, you can never guess where the audience is going. They're never standing still. They're a moving target, and they're very hard to hit. I do think in the coming year that Paramount will be making some what I call big octane or high octane pictures, like Beverly Hills Cop 3 with Eddie Murphy, The Firm with Tom Cruise. I mean, these are going to be, you know, those kind of Goliaths that go out there to do battle.
You know, I can't help but think about our own show. What do you think the future of Entertainment Tonight is?
Well, to be bluntly honest, John Tesh is in Barcelona over there for the Olympics. And I think there's a major opportunity for myself to come on the show and help you guys out. I know it's been 10 years and you've done okay, but I think now is the moment in time where we should do it.
Hey, Tesh, you better watch out. Your job's in jeopardy. The boss is coming.
Now, do you think he was serious, Mary? Absolutely. I think he'd love to be right here, but it better be with the both of us. Jam up jobs. We could just put him right here in the middle and go. Yep. I love it. Nice. The girls from Hollywood and Brandon.
Channel 4 News, the hottest ticket to the Summer Olympics. Weekdays starting at 5. You've got an Olympic passport to the sights and sounds of Barcelona. Followed by Fred Rogan's Olympic Profiles at 6, where you'll get the inside track on the world's greatest athletes.
Come on!
Then at 7, special Olympic reports featuring hometown heroes and their families. Plus, a preview of that evening's events. And at midnight, catch the Olympic wrap-up for all the day's thrilling action. Don't miss the excitement. Only on the Channel 4 News.
Hector, smile for Mommy. Oh, that's a good Hector.
What are you doing this weekend that's so important you can't take a little time to test your home for radon? After all, it is the second leading cause of lung cancer, and a radon test kit is inexpensive. You could pick one up on your way to get more film.
4 and 20 blackbirds baked in a pie.
Count the number of different spectacle Spritz wears next and enter our spectacular sweepstakes.
Nobody lose a pair of glasses? I didn't scare you, did I? Well, then I'll try harder. What happened to my glasses? Give them to him, Frank, and step on it.
To enter, call 1-900-TV4-KNBC now. $1.25 per call, 18 and over. Answer correctly and you may win a cruise to Mexico, passes to Universal, or $5,000.
Ghost was a major hit for Paramount 2 years ago, and Vincent Schiavelli played a pivotal role in that film. Yeah, in the subway. I love those scenes. Well, now Vincent has gotten into the spirit of this 80th anniversary special, and he's agreed to introduce us to the spirit as well.
You try to move it with your finger. You can't push it with your finger. You're dead.
Teaching Patrick Swayze to focus his spiritual energy was the key to unlocking the secrets of the other world in the movie Ghost. But there are other ghosts of famous Paramount players lurking around this lot, especially here in the prop department. And if you roam around after closing, you can hear them.
you feel, and only when you're this upset do you turn to Boo-Boo Kitty. We're gonna make our dreams come true.
Some influential spirits left quiet reminders. Lucille Ball was the most powerful woman in Hollywood. One day, she decided she wanted a fish pond outside her offices. Here it is. And 35 years later, these are the descendants of Lucy's fish.
We are going to be with the two most attractive men in town.
I should come up sometime, silly.
Thanks for the memory.
And I want the rest of you cowboys to know something. There's a new sheriff in town.
Quiet, quiet, quiet. We're trying to take a scene here.
As you roam around this historic lot, it's easy to imagine what used to take place here. From DeMille barking orders at cast and crew, to Martin crooning while Lewis clowns around. As Paramount's past makes way for its future, they leave their footprints behind forever. For Entertainment Tonight, I'm Vincent Schiavelli.
Such a sense of history here, but it's a rush to work on this.
How you doing, everybody in TV land? I just want to welcome you to Paramount Studios. I'm your tour guide, Marcus Lindsay. I'll be giving you a tour throughout the lot today. Right now, we're at stage 28, and this is where they do Entertainment Tonight, right here through these doors. First of all, I want to show you the back lot. All right, back lot, New York, Chicago, San Francisco, Washington. It's everywhere. This is where it's at. This is where it all gets started. At one time, Laverne Shaw used to live here in Milwaukee, right over here. Scotch Brewery. This is where Laverne Shaw used to work at. They were there, you know, looking at the bottles, making sure it was safe for people to drink, I guess. I really don't know what was Laverne Shaw doing there. I knew they were doing something. Right over here used to be our Western lot. It was a bonanza set. And nowadays, you know, Westerns are no longer, you know, big time because I guess people are no longer watching it. So with that in mind, they made the whole Western set, you know, Western lot into a parking lot. And it's probably been a parking lot for quite some time, I guess, until, what, Westerns come back? Let me see. To my left, more cars. Looking at the cars, you can tell these people are in a high tax bracket. I mean, none of these cars really have anything in common, you know, except for cellular phones, perhaps. I mean, they always got to make phone calls. To my right, employee center over here, you know, we can come do lunch. In the cafeteria, you know, a little slogan say, love you, babe. Gotta do lunch, babe. Gonna make you rich. Gonna give you a pitch. Lunch on you. You go inside, tell them a little story about, you know, a sitcom, you know, whether it be about some taxi drivers, you know. The next thing you know, Danny DeVito stars in it. Hey, there it is. I guess you know who this guy is right here. Hey, how you guys doing? It's the MacGyver guy. Look at him. How you doing, Richard?
Paramount, the best studio this side of the papers.
Richard Dean Anderson, MacGyver. You know, I think he was one of the coolest characters. I mean, how many people do you know can beat up, I mean, take on a whole army with a bunch of chewing gum and strings and just a Swiss knife? I mean, the guy was bad. I mean, he was bad. At one time, Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz on this side a lot. It was Desilu production. Get it? Desi Arnaz, Lucille Ball, Desilu. She owned all this. Another thing we had over here is a park, because Lucille Ball loved going to the parks, but it was very unfortunate for her because she couldn't have no privacy because they were always putting cameras in her faces, taking pictures. So with that in mind, she went on and made her own park. Stage 28, well, we're back. I want to thank you guys for coming to on my tour. I mean, I appreciate, you know, having this moment with you. If you ever want to come out here, you know, we're open Monday through Fridays, giving tours 2 hours a day. We'd love to see you.
Happy birthday.
Next Donahue, Carly Simon joins Phil for a song.
Stay out of the ocean, stay out of the sun.
reveals secrets,
I'd love to be an actress.
and shares sibling harmony. Singer Carly Simon, next on You. Monday at 3 here on Channel 4.
Coming up on the news magazine of the American scene. She's Brazil's sexiest soap starlet, and when her clothes come off, the cameras stay on. Find out what they can show you down there that we can't show you here. South of the border soaps, then maxi coats, platform shoes. Yep, these are the fashions we have to look forward to. Are top designers setting trends or bringing back bad memories? Fashion or flare up? On hard copy.
At a special time today at 4. On the next Entertainment Tonight, he calls himself Fabio. So why are some women calling him a bimbo?
A bimbo is somebody who's gorgeous and overbuilt who gets by on their looks. That's Fabio.
He's made his living as a romance novel cover model, and he's easily the hottest hunk in the business. But now they're going to pay him big bucks to write, and the hunk bashing is on. Get the inside story on the next Entertainment Tonight. At a special time today at 4:30. From the nation's capital, the McLAUGHLIN Group, an unrehearsed program presenting inside opinions and forecasts on major issues of the day. Sponsored by GE. GE, from plastics to financial services. At GE, we bring good things to life. Here's the moderator, John McLaughlin.
Issue 1, Iraq is back. The U.S. and Allied warplanes may soon be bombing Baghdad. For 3 weeks, Iraqi President Saddam Hussein has denied UN inspectors entry to his agriculture ministry, where the UN has reason to believe plans for Iraq's nuclear missile program are hidden. Iraq's defiance is a clear violation of the April '91 Gulf War ceasefire. The standoff turned ugly this week when thousands of hostile Iraqi demonstrators surrounded UN inspectors, chanting, "Saddam stays forever." Over the weekend, the president meets with Secretary of Defense Dick Cheney and Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff Colin Powell to discuss military options. Despite the threat of force, Iraq continues to remain defiant.
The people of Iraq and the leadership of Iraq are ready to face any consequences.
This being an election year, the decision to use military force is politically delicate. Democratic presidential nominee Bill Clinton helped to ease the president's political burden by offering his support.
To send a clear signal to Saddam Hussein that the fact that we have an election going on over here and that at this moment it seems to be going pretty well for Senator Gore and for me should not be interpreted by him to believe that our country has become divided on this issue.
Question, what are the political ramifications of the use of military force by the U.S. and Britain and France against Iraq? Fred Barnes.
Well, a strike is risky, but doing nothing is also very risky. Well, while Saddam is over there violating the ceasefire agreement in many different ways, not just at the Ministry of Agriculture, and thumbing his nose at the rest of the world, and particularly at George Bush. So that's risky. But a strike is risky because it may not work. What if you send airplanes in, they bomb, and Saddam doesn't comply? It doesn't exact such a high cost on him that he doesn't back down and he's not knocked out of power. That would be a disaster for Bush. So what he needs is the right kind of strike that is going to make Saddam comply. And you're going to have a strike because, look, he's not backing down. There are all kinds of violations, and the sanctions are falling apart as well.
Well stated, Fred. And there's going to be a desert storm, too. Maybe you'll be a scud stud, too. Eleanor?
Well, if George Bush is going to act, he's going to have to do it soon. So it's clear that the connection is between Saddam's defiance of the UN, and it's not just in response to his poll numbers. But Fred is right. There's lots of risk. First of all, I think it's difficult the second time around to convince the American people that vital interests are at stake. And second, George Bush has said that his quarrel is not with the Iraqi people, but with Saddam. 100,000 Iraqis have died, many of them innocent civilians. To go in a second time with strikes and have Saddam survive again, which is quite likely, will only remind the public that this was never much of a victory.
Jack Jamon.
The
Well, the best thing for the president clearly would be for Saddam to back down. The president's in danger of being accused of doing this for political reasons. In fact,
even with Clinton.
No, but I'm saying even. You don't need Clinton for people to be suspicious and cynical. But the fact of the matter is, though, the president doesn't have any choice in the matter. If the UN resolutions are going to mean anything at all, they've got to be enforced. And Clinton is saying the same thing, essentially. They do have to be. Clinton's saying is also the right thing politically. But the problem is the one that Fred stated. What if he goes in there and they bomb something, they pinpoint some targets, and when it's all over, Saddam is still smirking and standing around there, carrying on, and nothing happens.
Don't you think the president should welcome Bill Clinton into the White House, sit him down, and say to him, this is what we're planning to do. Make it more official than this soundbite next to a jet engine.
No.
In which he said, by the way, we're on board if the UN is on board.
Look, if Bill Clinton, by all historical standards, Bill Clinton would say, no, thank you, you're president. We have one president at a time, which is exactly what he ought to do. This is George Bush's
saying he ought to he should make Clinton formalize his approval.
That is not what is done in these circumstances.
It is done in these circumstances.
Bill Clinton,
it was done under Reagan and Carter.
Bill Clinton has not even been elected president yet. If this were a transition, Jimmy, Bill Clinton would not go into the White House to consult with Bush on this. Now look, Bush's mistake has been, and he's about to correct it next week, that he has not met with the Iraqi opposition leaders. Finally, they are arriving in Washington next week, and they're going to meet with Jim Baker, and they really ought to be meeting with Bush so that there's a concerted strategy to get rid of Saddam Hussein. Now, I completely disagree that this is politically important. I think that this is something the president has to do. The allies are on board with it. And even if it fails to get rid of Saddam Hussein, it is not a negative.
Also, I would point out that the French really want to take the lead in this. They want their planes to go in first.
Let them go in first.
Let me make a point of something that Mort just said, though. The whole business of raising the hopes in this country or anywhere else that some rebel force, the dissidents, are going to get rid of Saddam Hussein. They've been doing that for over a year now. That doesn't work. It hasn't happened, and it's foolish to put your hopes in it.
Yeah, I agree. Those Iraqi dissidents aren't much, but there's something else George Bush has to do, and that is crack down on his buddy, that little twerp King Hussein of Jordan, who's allowing all sorts of material and to go through, breaking the embargo. It's time to crack down on Jordan.
Well, it could be declared a military zone, and we could encircle Iraq. Well, that's been thought of.
The other problem the president faces, you put this issue front and center. You know, there's a lot of investigation on Capitol Hill on just what George Bush did to create Saddam Hussein, and to make this an issue during the midst of the election is not overall helpful to George Bush.
Let us exit with the following perceptive question. The question is, with no certainty with regard to the outcome of the use of force. No certainty, number one. Sure. And looked at from the point of view of pure politics alone, is it politically helpful or hurtful for George Bush to use military force now? You understand the question?
Perfectly.
What do you say, Scud 2?
As inane as it is, I understand it. Look, politically and otherwise, as long as Saddam does not back down, George Bush has to act.
What do you
think? Marginally helpful, because George Bush cannot just ignore Saddam ignoring him. But he can't make political hay out of this either, because you can't accuse Clinton and Gore of being wimps on the subject. They're with him.
Yeah, but the probability is he will not crush Hussein. They won't find him in this. And don't you think that would be sufficiently politically damaging so that the minuses outweigh the pluses? Looked at through a political lens alone. What do you think, John?
I think that by November 3rd it's not going to mean anything at all.
Why?
Because by November 3rd, people are going to be focused on the question of who would be the best president for the next 4 years. And it has nothing to do with whether we bomb.
Whether we use force or don't. What do you say?
I agree with Jack completely. This is a neutral, and it's old stuff. This is the old world, right? What people are concerned about is what their future is going to be like in this country.
I think it's too risky for them, and the negatives are on the side of the use of force. We'll be right back with the 100-Day War.
He was 50 when it happened. In 3 months, he went from perfect vision to almost total blindness.
You know, you never appreciate the beauty in your life until you can't see it anymore. My wife, my family, my life. Everything I cared about just turned to darkness. And no one could tell me why.
In test after test, doctors were at a loss.
I can't find a thing.
There seemed to be no answers. Finally, a test was done using GE's revolutionary magnetic resonance imager. It lets doctors see things that ordinary tests and x-rays can't. Look at this. Incredible. The doctors discovered a tumor affecting his optic nerves, and he was treated. Within days, he got his vision back.
Hey, how about a smile?
And everything that came with it.
The Proctor National Bank is closed for the holiday.
This is Dr. Martell. We are closed until tomorrow.
Due to record snowfall, all town services will be closed.
You have reached Lucci Plumbing. I am indisposed at the moment.
We wish you a Merry Christmas, but we are not here.
Ever try to get help on a holiday or even a weekend? It's nearly impossible. Unless, of course, you're calling one very special number.
GE Answer Center may help you.
365 days a year, 24 hours a day, GE's Answer Center is there to help. Whether you're thinking of buying a GE appliance or already own one.
My son just put marbles in the ice maker.
Don't worry, man.
Now, weekends, holidays, or darkness of night, the GE Answer Center never closes.
GE Answer Center, happy holidays.
You're open. I can't believe it.
We're always here. How can I help you?
Issue 2, the 100-Day War.
These guys, you know what they're going to do? They're going to call us every name in the book and tell us you ought to be scared of voting for us. I tell you what you ought to be scared of is being stuck in the same old rut for 4 more years.
Do we want to keep a government that responds only to the wealthy and powerful and privileged few?
When you analyze the program, they have this expression around here, smoke and mirrors. Going to save it all by eliminating overhead, eliminating waste, and there's billions of dollars that is earmarked to do that, and I just don't think that's practical.
And if there was ever a team of pretty boys, it's Bill Clinton and Al Gore.
The presidential election is 100 days away. This week, the campaign ignited. Democratic and Republican adversaries hurled rhetoric at each other. Last Friday, Bill Clinton and Al Gore piled into a bus and traversed 8 states, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, Illinois, Indiana, and Missouri, drawing huge crowds at every stop and blasting Bush as they went. The bus trip was so successful that another one is being planned for the West Coast. The Clinton-Gore ticket is soaring in the polls with a whopping 29% margin over Bush. Question, who won the week, Bush Quayle or Clinton-Gore, Eleanor Cliff?
John, you don't have to ask that one. This was slaughter. They got more positive coverage on this bus tour than the Beatles got on their first tour of America. I mean, more reporters were oohing and eyeing. It was almost embarrassing. I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to do it until now, but this was a terrific trip. And they went right along US 40, which is the heart of Reagan Democratic country, and they struck all the right cultural chords. Miniature golf, holding hands, church, truck stops, the whole bit.
The important thing about the trip is they had to show their own party that they were going to come out and seize control of the agenda for a while, and that's why, for example, Clinton took only 1 day off back in Little Rock and is back on the road again, control the agenda, because what happened 4 years ago was just the reverse. Dukakis made a brief trip to Texas, and then he sat out for a while, and he let Bush run all over him.
If there was any mistake, it was in not just plunging right across the country and going and finishing up in Orange County, California, with a huge rally there to just finish the whole thing off. It would have been fantastic.
They could do that in November.
One of the things that helped Clinton and Gore is that the press reacted to them on the bus tour as teenage girls did to the Beatles when they were making that tour. The press acted as cheerleaders, but once again,
so did the country,
once again, this shows, I think, that Bush has made a mistake in holding off the real beginning of his campaign to the convention. He needs to engage Gore, engage Clinton aggressively right now.
Are you saying that the popularity of Clinton-Gore is not due to Clinton-Gore, it's due to the inaction of George Bush?
It's due to both.
All right, I would like to point out that the bus trip was brilliant, which we all agree upon, but there's something else that no one has said. Once again, I'm not surprised, but I'm disappointed. What am I looking for? What did we learn from this bus trip?
A bread box you're looking for.
We learned about the response time of Bill Clinton. What am I talking about?
Well, every time the Bush team tries to attack, he hits right back.
Right.
And you're going to see the first impact of this bus trip will be that George Bush will sit out the golf season in August. You're not going to see those pictures of him teeing off.
Well stated, and I don't care what the basketball experts say. You'll always be on my dream team. Okay, Republican rumor roundup. Rumor. James Baker will resign as Secretary of State to become President Bush's czar for both policy and re-election. Rumor. President Bush is ill. Rumor. Dan Quayle is ill. Rumor. Barbara Bush is ill. Rumor. Marilyn Quayle is ill. Rumor. Bush will dump Quayle and replace him with Defense Secretary Dick Cheney, or JCS Chairman Colin Powell, or HUD Secretary Jack Kemp. Mr. President, I ask you, is there any truth to these rumors?
Seriously, it's a crazy time on rumors. We get phone calls, Barbara's sick, Marilyn Quayle's sick, I'm not feeling well. I don't know what's going on out there, but I don't believe in repeating them or printing, you know, kind of encouraging the printing of this.
Question, which one of these rumors is true, Morton?
Well, the Jim Baker rumor is definitely true. Jim Baker will go over to the White House and be something, counselor, but he'll be the boss of the team and try to put it in order. The rest of the rumors are flatly false. And the chief rumor that's flatly false is that Bush is going to get rid of Quayle. As a matter of fact, on Friday morning, Quayle went in to see Bush, and Bush assured him for the umpteenth time that he's on the ticket, that he's going to stay on the ticket, and if Bush would only find a nice forum, a platform somewhere, put his arm around Dan Quayle and say, "This is my boy," this would be over. I mean, Bush is contributing just a minute, Eleanor, it's contributing to the perpetuation of all this talk.
There's one rumor, Mort, that you might replace Quayle, and that's not such a bad idea, because you're always best when you have no responsibility.
Terrible idea.
I can tell Mort's been talking to the Quayle staff, because they're putting out the fact that he's safe and secure. But the point is, whether they get rid of Dan Quayle or not, they have been sitting around at the highest council of the Republican Party talking about the possibility.
No,
they
would
like to.
No, they haven't. They haven't been.
Sure,
That's flatly wrong. They've been sitting down. They've been sitting around on the third level.
Well, I don't. Wait a minute.
The fact is, the problem. Dan Quayle is not the problem. George Bush is the problem. It's the top of the ticket that's a problem.
Don't you think we ought to be considering here? Don't you think we ought to be considering here what the attitude is of James Baker towards Dan Quayle?
As a matter of fact, James.
Don't you remember the Washington Post series where Marilyn Quayle trashed James Baker?
But James Baker understands that George Bush's reliability, when he makes a promise, is open to question because of read my lips. If he dumps Quayle, it will be perfidy.
Don't you think Gore is going to just make more manifest the weaknesses of Dan Quayle? I'm sorry, Jack, go right ahead.
I almost forgot what I was going to say. Let me make a couple of points. The first is that aside from the president's penchant for loyalty and so forth, he couldn't drop Quayle because Quayle has a real constituency in the Republican Party, and he's built that constituency very carefully. And if he were dropped, it would be a real stink. The second thing is the Republicans who run their campaigns, including Jim Baker, have always been spooked by the Eagleton episode in 1972. When Quayle was put forward 4 years ago, and there was immediately trouble about his National Guard and so forth, the first thing they decided to do was step on every possible rumor that he might be replaced, dismiss that idea immediately, and go to work with damage control and deal with the situation. They would never drop him for that reason.
It is true that Dan Quayle is needed for the conservative constituency, but it is also true that someone else could take over that constituency very smoothly, and that man is Jack Kemp, or that man is Dick Cheney.
They are not the same people. They are not the same people.
Jack Kemp knows that if Quayle is dumped, Bush is not going to pick him. Kemp is for Quayle staying.
Okay, another Bush item. On Friday, the president addressed families of American MIAs and POWs. The families were angry at the failure of the administration, they think, to offer more information on those missing in combat. A sizable number of the 300-plus audience repeatedly shouted at the president to, quote, tell the truth, unquote. It took 5 minutes before order was restored. Then Mr. Bush returned to the microphone.
I hope you understand how I feel about patriotism, about service to my country, and I will put my record up against anybody here. And I just... Would you please be quiet and let me finish? Would you please shut up and sit down? And I would say this. To suggest that a commander-in-chief that led this country into its most successful recent effort would condone for one single day the personal knowledge of a person held against his will, whether it's here or any place else, is simply totally unfair.
What's the political impact, if any, of this episode, Freddie Bonds?
I think it shows Bush has a pulse. He's alive. I mean, he did exactly what he should have done. Well, I mean, it was bad advance work in the first place. I don't know why they'd have him in some group where they're going to heckle him like crazy. Remember when Bill Clinton stood up to the act-up hecklers in the audience in New York? A good show by Clinton. This was exactly what Bush should have done.
Yeah. This was terrific. I mean, this is Bush at his very best. I mean, standing up to a hostile crowd, standing up for patriotism and defense of troops behind enemy lines, if there are any. That was great.
You know, I think so, too. That was the best part of the film, however. I can also say that. The puzzle to me is, why in the world would you take him over to talk to these people who are notorious for being this, they're notorious for being obstreperous, for being paranoid about the government. So I don't know.
Because they're parole voters, and the president wants to go out there and get the parole vote. But
did he look all right to you then?
It was a moment of authenticity for a candidate who has been mangled and handled and told what to do. It's nice to see that he can think of something on his own.
Also, he signed an order this week releasing 1.3 million sheets of paper dealing with the 2,226 POWs or MIAs. Issue 3. Wherefore art thou rosy scenario? The Bush administration published its mid-year economic review on Thursday. The unemployment rate, says the review, will drop from 7.8% now to 6.9% at the end of the year, 6 months from now, almost 1 percentage point. And the economy will grow by 2.7%. Not great, but higher than most economists are predicting. Budget Director Richard Darman also took the opportunity to blame the democratically controlled Congress for the recession.
If the president's full program had been adopted in 1989, we wouldn't have had the recession.
That if baloney were gold, Dick Darman would be King Midas.
Republicans in Congress were also critical of the administration, with one Republican senator calling for the dismissal of both Darman and Brady.
The president needs to take bold action. He needs to take it now.
Their economic policy, and that's what people are concerned about, has been a disaster. And we've got thousands of working middle-class families who are out of work.
President, question, right? Was the president on target with this mid-year report, do you think, Jack Jamon?
I mean, why anybody takes these forecasts seriously? What a hoot. I mean, this is the administration was telling us we were going to have 4% growth, we were going to have X. Look, I'll tell you a couple of figures this week. 422,000 new applications for unemployment. The highest figure in months and months, 422,000.
Seasonally adjusted.
422,000 people, 10 million, almost 11 million people out of work who regularly work.
Yeah, but they come into the workforce at this particular season.
Don't
you
give me
can't
that.
have
Don't give me
workers
that
today with the workforce and the universe of the workforce. Let me finish.
If you've never been out of work for a day, you wouldn't be
January the 1st, you will find that the number is constant.
Well, blaming Congress is old politics until the president comes up with a forward program that this negativism does nothing but frustrate voters. But you did hit upon one rumor that may come true, and that is the firing of Brady and Darman. They're going to be gone if Bush wins re-election, so why not get rid of them now and name somebody that sends a message to the country that he's going to do something. What you need is the economic equivalent of Arsenio Hall.
Is that a prediction?
If he or she exists.
Well, unfortunately, Bush is not bold enough to at least fire Brady, who ought to go. But, you know, these numbers, even if they're true, and I think they are, we had 2.7% growth in the first quarter, after all, even if unemployment comes down to that, these are not great numbers for Bush to run for re-election on.
This was a great opportunity for a white paper to be issued on what Bush has proposed, dates, times, places, and all that, and what Congress did with it, and proving their case that the growth would have been greater if the Congress had passed. But they blew it again. They just made
it wouldn't prove the case.
All right, let's get out. Let's get out.
One other brief point. The unemployment number is 7.8 nationally. Big key states. 4 of the 5 biggest states over 9.5.
That's a good point. Well, let's get out. The exit question is as follows. Whom will Bush sack? A, Darman, B, Brady, C, both, D, neither of the above.
D.
Neither of the above.
What I said, yeah.
Eleanor, by the way, I can tell the economy isn't still in trouble from that new haircut of yours. Please continue.
Based on zero insider knowledge, I say both of them, simply because they're going to be gone anyway. Why not get political credit now? Get some new faces.
Neither.
Neither.
The answer is A, Dahman. We'll be right back with predictions.
This is the hand that turned on the light, that lit up the desk where the idea was born for a quieter jet engine that flew the technician who works at the power plant, which produces its energy far more efficiently as it lights up the city and powers the hospital with its life-saving images, where Sam was found healthy, in time for the game, held under the lights and broadcast to millions by a satellite system, designed with precision and shipped by powerful locomotives that passed by a factory that helped build a car with advanced thermoplastics that sits in the drive at the home of Patricia, who went to the fridge and got a drink for her dad, who works in the room where he turns out the light as he puts his young daughter to bed.
Every day, GE technology touches the lives of just about everybody.
I have to cancel.
I keep canceling.
I have to cancel.
Why do you keep putting it off?
Mother, I'm not.
GE's breast cancer detection system.
I keep meaning to. Did you go? I'm too busy.
It can detect tumors too tiny to be felt.
It's such a busy week. I'm going to go next week.
I can't find the time.
I just haven't had time.
When?
It can help increase the survival rate to 91%.
I'll go when I have the time. Next week. Oh, I can't next week. Don't stop. As soon as I can find the time, I'll go.
But there's one thing GE can't do. We can't make you go.
It's nothing to worry about. I just couldn't go.
We'll be back after these messages.
The rush is on for the incomparable new GE Profile refrigerator. The GE Profile is full of smart ideas, like a shelf that tucks away for tall things, and shelves that glide out so you can find things. It's called Smart Space Design. Smart ideas that let you put things in, take things out, and clean things up so quickly and easily that you'll never again miss your favorite commercials.
We bring good things to life.
Predictions, Freddie.
Unlike at the Democratic convention, both sides of the abortion debate will speak at the Republican convention, and in fact, the Bush White House is putting out one particular person to give the pro-choice side. That's Labor Secretary Lynn Martin, who will be one of the stars of the Republican convention.
Eleanor.
With the Democratic ticket looking like a winner, the Democratic Congress will no longer confirm any Bush appointees, and that goes from foreign service officers through judges.
Jack.
I think Clinton's going to go down in the polls probably 10 points or more in the next round of national polls. But the state-by-state polls are very encouraging to the Democrats, to the point they think, if you look now, you can see there are 32 or 33 states that may be in play this fall, which is almost half as many as were in play last time.
Morton.
House Majority Leader Dick Gephardt, in order to take the luster off a Bush conclusion of a North American free trade agreement, and also to save Bill Clinton from the necessity of having to choose whether to support it or not, will declare on Monday that Bush has not done enough to secure American jobs or protect the environment in the NAFTA negotiations, and therefore there will be no treaty ratified by the Congress this year.
Before the convention, i.e. within the next 3 weeks, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, Dick Dahman, will resign to join the investment firm of Shearson Lehman. Another quick prediction. Yes or no? Will George Bush sack Dan Quayle? Or will Dan Quayle resign? Yes or no?
Neither.
Willie.
I think it's a 20% chance they get rid of
That's
Quayle.
a no. What do you say?
No.
No?
No.
The answer is no. Next week, will Baghdad back down? Bye-bye.
The McLAUGHLIN Group has been sponsored by GE. GE, from plastics to financial services. At GE, we bring good things to life. For a transcript, send $5 to Federal News Service, 620 National Press Building, Washington, D.C., 20045. Specify program date. To obtain a free McLAUGHLIN Group Viewer's Guide, write Viewer's Guide, Box 786, Madison Square Station, New York, New York, 10159. Topics are selected by Mr. McLAUGHLIN, and the opinions expressed are solely those of the participants.
I'm John McLaughlin. Watch McLaughlin on CNBC. Consult your local cable listings.
Count the number of different spectacles Fritz wears next and enter our spectacular sweepstakes.
Somebody lose a pair of glasses? I didn't scare you, did I? Well, then I'll try harder.
What happened to my glasses?
Give them to him, Frank, and step on it.
We've ever had.
To enter, call 1-900-TV4-KNBC now. $1.25 per call, 18 and over. Answer correctly and you may win a cruise to Mexico, passes to Universal, or $5,000.
Many wonderful charities in Los Angeles who help thousands of needy youngsters and adults need your help. But before you write a check to a group you don't know, find out more information. Is the charity legally registered? How much of your dollar actually goes to support programs and services? I'm Mike O'Donnell, president of the LA Social Service Commission, and you can get answers to these and other tough questions by calling 1-800-77-DONATE. Please give, but give wisely.
Paul Johnson's Metro Traffic, mornings at 6 and 6:30 on Today in LA.
Excuse me, do you know what stock options are?
I wish I did.
The information you know you should know is in the Wall Street Journal's video guide to money and markets. This exclusive 30-minute video is free. When you call for 13 weeks of the journal for just $37, that's over 20% off the newsstand price.
Call toll-free 800-235-1200 for 13 weeks of the Wall Street Journal and your free video on money and markets. That's 800-235-1200.
My left foot was killing me. It was just itching between the toes. Burning and itching.
We're talking with Todd Adams about Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
I would apply Gold Bond Medicated Powder in between the toes, and it stops the pain instantly.
Gold Bond's Triple Action is the absorbing action of powder, the medicating action of a proven itch fighter, and the drying action of zinc oxide.
Gold Bond Powder. There's a difference between a good day and a bad day.
Try Triple Action Gold Bond Medicated Powder.
In the country once called Yugoslavia, the president of Bosnia says he will not sit down for peace talks with the Serbs unless the Serbs allow UN relief supplies into Bosnia and a ceasefire takes hold. And Jeremy Bowen has more on the fighting, the relief effort, and what it means to the people of that war-torn region.
It's easy to see why people want to leave. In this city, the snipers are never very far away. This one says he defends the people of Sarajevo by targeting the Serbian sharpshooters. It doesn't do much good. Civilians have to risk their lives to do the simplest things, and they're sick of it. A lot of civilians would like to get out of Sarajevo, but they can't. The place is sealed off, there's no escape. Children who have nowhere else to go have been put up in a bomb-damaged bank. They're refugees in their own city, driven out of suburbs now controlled by the Serbs. They look as if they're full of life, but they talk about death.
Lots of people, innocent people died. And it's for, a lot of my friends already died. My good friends.
Nobody here expects a short war. They won't starve as long as the UN brings in food, but the only safe thing they can do is stay in their cellars, thinking about a different life, still hoping they'll be saved by foreign troops. Jeremy Bowen, BBC News, Sarajevo.
Well, let's take a look now at the weather. Here's Marty Coniglio with the forecast.
Good morning. Later on today in the Northeast, it looks pretty wet from around Boston down through New York toward the nation's capital. We had heavy rain yesterday in West Virginia. That'll move a little bit to the east right along this frontal boundary, and this is a big front. Moves from Virginia and the Carolinas all the way into East Texas and right along that frontal boundary, we will see some heavy rain today. It's a slow-moving system, so once the storms develop, they will just sit in the same place and dump a lot of rain. Throughout the Midwest, it's drying out a little bit after a weekend of torrential rains. Up to the north, some rain from Lake Superior into Canada and northern Minnesota. Scattered storms in the Rocky Mountain areas, and as you get to the southwest, more rain. It's been unusually wet in the southwest as well. Hot and dry in the northwest, and of course in the southeast in Florida, we will see continued rainy conditions. High temperatures today nationwide, pretty interesting. 80s and 90s throughout the southeast. Those stretch all the way back to the northwest. 80s throughout the Midwest. 70s in the Great Lakes area, and of course 100 plus in the desert southwest. Tomorrow, look for 70s to hold on in there throughout the Great Lakes. Midwest, 80s and 90s, 90s to 100 plus as you move into the southwest. Have a great week going back to work. I'm Marty Caniglio for NBC Nightside.
In Houston, summers are sticky hot, but the weather's always good in the Astrodome. But Sunday, the Astros had to leave their climate-controlled home. No, they're not moving to another city. They're being kicked out to make room for the Republican team. And GOP players take the field next month. The Astros needed to get out now to give the Republicans time to get ready for their convention, which starts on August 17th. The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette has published its first edition this morning since a strike shut the paper down 10 weeks ago. But hundreds of striking drivers and supporters are standing guard, attempting to block non-union replacements from making deliveries. However, the police are trying to escort delivery trucks through the crowd. The owner of the Post-Gazette, the Pittsburgh Press Company, decided to forge ahead without union workers, despite the opposition of Pittsburgh residents. Thousands of them, including the mayor, have canceled their subscriptions in protest. Coming up on Nightside, Dan Quayle insists he's on the Republican ticket to stay, despite what critics say. And later in sports, Mark Barger will tell us about day one at the Olympics and the winner of the Tour de France.
The following contains important information for veterans, their spouses, and widows aged 50 to 75.
Lottery tickets. We never missed a week. My husband and I used to sit around dreaming how we'd spend it all. We knew the odds were ridiculous, but it's only a couple of bucks a week, and it was fun. And then Ron died about 6 months ago, and I found out we didn't have enough life insurance. I had no idea how much funeral and legal fees would be. I owed over $6,000. Turns out we could have easily afforded extra life insurance for the price of a couple of these.
If you're a veteran age 50 to 75 or the spouse or widow of a veteran, you can afford life insurance. Because Veterans Life Insurance Company offers term life policies for as little as $1 a week. If you served in wartime, peacetime, active, or reserves, call this toll-free number for free information about $1-a-week life insurance just for veterans, their spouses, and widows.
I learned about life insurance the hard way. Now I have my own policy from Veterans Life. $1 a week, I don't even miss it. And I feel really good knowing that someday my kids won't have to go through what I just did.
Call now for free information. There's no medical exam, no waiting period, and your benefits never go down. You'll also get free membership in the Veterans Discount Prescription and Vision Care plans that can save you up to 60% on medications and eyeglasses.
For $1 a week, I can't afford not to have Veterans Life Insurance. Oh, I still buy an occasional lottery ticket, but now I know I have something that'll pay off in the future.
Call 1-800-628-1100 right now for free information about $1-a-week life insurance from Veterans Life Insurance Company. Operators are standing by. Call 1-800-628-1100. $1 a week now is all it takes to help give your family financial security later.
Vice President Dan Quayle left Washington for the campaign trail Sunday.
For Quayle, this Southern tour is about more than just tackling the issues. The Vice President is also addressing rumors that he may be dropped from the Republican ticket. NBC correspondent Tom Pettit is with the Vice President.
Vice President Dan Quayle came to the Deep South to begin a counterattack against his critics, trying to end speculation about his future, insisting that he will stay on the ticket. He spoke to nearly 4,000 members of the Briarwood Presbyterian Church in an affluent suburb of Birmingham, Alabama, part of his natural conservative constituency.
Many of my critics tell me that I should never have raised the issue of values. Well,
as usual, my critics are wrong.
The Vice President is trying to end the dump quail rumors which have been plaguing him the past week. Even some Alabama Republicans have said Mr. Bush would be better off without him. And the conservative Chicago Tribune, in an editorial today, called for him to step aside.
Okay, this is a closed issue. The only people that are bringing this up happen to be our opponents, the media, and some hand-wringers. The president has never wavered on this issue, privately or publicly, and we're going to win this campaign.
You think this issue will go away once your campaign starts moving?
This issue is a closed issue, past tense.
Mrs. Quayle doesn't really want to talk about it.
The only people they're talking about is members of the media. It seems to be the hot topic among members of the media and nobody else.
Then it was off to the races.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Mr. Quayle was Grand Marshal of the Talladega, Alabama stock car race, the Die Hard 500. Dan Quayle's real challenge is to do better in the opinion polls, but nobody in the entire campaign has yet figured out a way to do that. Tom Pettit, NBC News, Birmingham.
Abortion rights groups are gearing up for next month's Republican convention in Houston, Texas. On Sunday, hundreds of abortion rights advocates gathered there. They're preparing to do battle with the anti-abortion group Operation Rescue, which is expected to try to close down Houston abortion clinics during the Republican convention.
We think we're going to train enough people here in Houston to come out to the clinics and to help us keep them open so that Operation Rescue is booted out of Houston and really is booted out of Texas.
The group, which calls itself Houston Defending Choice, focuses on nonviolent methods to keep abortion clinics open. Group leaders say more than 300 people turned out for Sunday's training session.
Pope John Paul II, looking thin and drawn, waved from his hospital window Sunday, giving crowds their first glimpse of him in 2 weeks. The pontiff had surgery for a benign colon tumor on July 15th. John Paul's Sunday address was recorded and broadcast as usual on Vatican Radio. He dedicated his prayer to peace, recalling the besieged people of Bosnia-Herzegovina. He also denounced episodes of recent violence in Italy, referring to the car bomb attack that killed an anti-mafia investigator and his bodyguards last week. The Pope is expected to leave the hospital after a few more days' rest.
In Los Angeles, one parish priest has tried for years to keep the peace in a community of gangs and guns. Now, Father Gregory Boyle is giving up his Los Angeles mission, at least for a while. Diana Karicki reports.
To the people who live in this barrio, he is priest, father, confidant, champion. 6 years ago, Father Gregory Boyle came to Dolores Mission, the youngest pastor in the poorest parish in the diocese, and won the trust of these people. The young men, the gangbangers, came to love and need him most. He's buried 26 of them.
Please stop banging. Please stop banging.
Before the Mass, Father Boyle told me the young men say they'll do anything for him.
Here's how I'll know that that's true and from the heart, if you stop banging.
The Latino gangs called a truce in honor of Father Boyle's last Mass. That's how much they love and respect him. But the worry is, when Father Boyle is gone, so will be the peace.
He's not only more than a father, he's like a friend, a homie, and a brother to me. Put together. He's everything you want him to be.
The gangs are losing the one man who not only found jobs for them, but mediated among them and kept some measure of peace.
So we would talk to hear each side of the story, and then we try to help us out to get together. But now he's going to be gone. Nobody's really going to take the time to do that, so he's going to just start getting wild now.
The Jesuits require this one-year sabbatical. It breaks his heart to leave, but Father Boyle says that to refresh his own soul, he must.
They always say, you know, I owe you so much. I said, you know, you owe me one thing. Good life. I want you to have a good life.
So as often happens in life, people who love each other go separate ways, at least for a time.
They taught me, you know, what unconditional love is, what kind of God we have, what is compassion. They're extraordinary, extraordinary people.
Diana Karicki, NBC News, Los Angeles.
And we'll be right back.
The BBC, Turner Broadcasting, and Time Life Video dare you to take a walk on the wild side with Trials of Life, the gripping, award-winning nature video series that exposes the struggle to survive through uncensored, shocking photography. Join acclaimed naturalist David Attenborough for a close encounter with raw nature as you've never seen it before. Violent footage shows you the life and death struggle to survive in a harsh and brutal world. The quest for food, the thrill of the hunt, and the strategy of the kill. The battle for supremacy, the relentless drive to continue the bloodline, and the miracle of birth. Trials of Life is a first-hand account of the struggle to survive in a savage, untamed environment. Call this toll-free number now to receive Hunting and Escaping for $9.99. You'll see up close why the law of the jungle is kill or be killed. Try Hunting and Escaping. If it captures your interest, you can get other videos about every other month. Each tape explores the harsh realities of survival in the animal world. Trials of Life is a video series that will change the way you look at nature and yourself. People magazine calls Trials of Life visually stunning. Entertainment Weekly says Trials of Life is one of the liveliest nature shows ever. See the deadly art of survival in the wild in Trials of Life. Some scenes may not be suitable for younger viewers. Take a walk on the wild side with Trials of Life. Call now to order Hunting and Escaping for $9.99 and find out why we call them animals.
To order your Trials of Life, call 1-800-346-0600 or send $9.99 plus $3.23 shipping and handling to Trials of Life, Grand Central Station, P.O. Box 5294, Department L-238, New York, New York, 10163.
You know, you have to wait 4 years for these things, so by the time the Olympics finally get around, what a lot of anticipation and what a lot of excitement.
Yeah, you thought the build-up for the Super Bowl was big. That's only about 2 weeks. Nothing compared to this. The Olympics, 4 years to build up, but hopefully they'll be worth it. Now that the beauty and pageantry of the opening ceremonies are over, the Olympians got down to good old-fashioned sweat yesterday in Barcelona, the first full day of competition. The U.S. basketball team breezed as expected to a 68-point victory over Angola, 116-48. Charles Barkley led the rout with 24 points. Meanwhile, in the water, Nelson Diebel brought home the first American gold medal by capturing the men's 100-meter breaststroke, and a couple of U.S. ladies won medals as well. Jenny Thompson of silver in the 100-meter freestyle, and Summer Sanders of bronze in the 400-meter individual medley. Well, Miguel Indurain said his goal yesterday was just not to fall off his bike in the Tour de France. He didn't, and in achieving that simple goal, it helped him achieve an even bigger one. The Spaniard captured his second straight Tour de France title. He was not the first man to cross the line in the final stage through Paris, but he was close enough behind to win the overall title by more than 4.5 minutes over Claudio Chiappucci of Italy. American Andy Hempstead finished fourth. Now, in racing of the motorized variety, Ernie Irvan came from a lap down to win his third race and 6 starts yesterday in NASCAR, taking the checkered flag at the Die Hard 500 in Talladega, Alabama. Irvan held off Sterling Marlin for the victory in the 4th fastest NASCAR race ever. In baseball, the Pittsburgh Pirates threw a little ice on the Atlanta Braves yesterday, ending their 13-game winning streak. The Braves looked ready to pull out another victory in the 8th inning. Lonnie Smith popped a 3-run homer to tie the game at 4. But then in the 9th inning, the Pirates' Orlando Merced came through with a single to score Jeff King, and that did it. Pittsburgh beat the Braves 5-4. Elsewhere in the National League, we had the Phillies over the Giants, the Pirates over the Braves. The Padres blanked the Mets 1-0. The Expos 4-3 over the Dodgers. It was the Cubs 8-5 over the Astros, and the Reds 7-6 in 10 innings over the Cardinals. Toronto manager Cito Gaston watched Oakland pound out 15 hits yesterday. This one by Mark McGuire sent for a double and drove home 2 runs as the A's handed Jack Morris his first loss since May. The final score was 9-1. Rest of the American League Finals, the Rangers beat the Orioles 6-2. It was the Twins 8-2 over the Red